assuming you've already set up your VM, that means you already have a Linux environment available. So yeah, that means we're ready to go with getting our feet wet with the Linux operating system. So overview for this week, we're going to be working with the Bash shell. So this week sets the foundation for future command line work, as we'll begin to familiarize ourselves with the Bash shell. We'll talk about what that is, and we'll learn essential concepts that will help us interact with the system more efficiently. A little definition for you to know for this next week's quiz is command line interface. It's a text-based user interface that allows users to interact with the computer by typing commands. So unlike a graphical user interface, so this is when you're clicking on buttons, when you have this, actual visuals. Command line interface is closer to what we use for early computers, where you'd actually just type in words into the computer, and the computer would actually execute what you wanted it to do. Nowadays, we use GUIs or graphical user interfaces. That's where we have like icons, like this X icon to close, where I have buttons, right, to like refresh the page to go to my home page. That's graphical user interface. So definitely, command line interface is can be a little bit scary. I know when I was first developing, when I was first learning how to be a software engineer, and I was faced with command line interface, it definitely was a little bit intimidating. But hopefully, with this class, right, you'll kind of get some of the basics, and you'll see that the command line is just a different way to interact with the computer. And with Linux, right, it becomes extremely useful for performing certain tasks. All right, so what is the bash shell? So the bash shell is our command line, our command interface. So the bash shell is in almost all Linux distributions, all Linux operating systems, versions, flavors. You're going to have a CLI program called the bash. So remember, CLI means command line interface. It's just a different way of interacting with the computer. So with Linux, it's called the bash terminal, the bash shell. So the bash shell is a command line interpreter or shell for Unix-based operating systems like Linux and Mac OS. So Mac also uses the bash shell. Bash is an acronym. So it's the Born Again shell. It's kind of a little bit of a play on words. It's a reference to the fact that bash is an enhanced version of the original Unix shell. Remember that Linux came from Unix, if you remember the week one slides. And then it was a program written by Stephen Bourne, so they go with Born Again because it's new, and then shell as a reference, right? That it is a shell originating in the Unix shell. So it's one of the most widely used shells due to its combination of powerful scripting capabilities, ease of use for both interactive command execution and scripting. So yeah, it's very powerful. Remember, Linux is open source, meaning that it has a lot of support globally. So there's people constantly adding different functions, features to Linux, making it easier to use, making it way more useful. So of course, if you know the Bash terminal well, it's going to be extremely useful for all sorts of advanced computer uses. Whether you're an IT specialist, whether you're a software developer, somewhere along the line, you're going to be working with a Bash terminal. In my case, I'm a full stack engineer, so I make applications, I make apps, right? Apps that can run on your phone, on your computer. I've used the Bash shell because it's helped me run certain programs, perform certain tasks, especially when it comes to scripts. So scripts are when you kind of write a little set of instructions for the computer. Bash is definitely one of the easier ways to execute these scripts. So in your Ubuntu machine, so we'll definitely go over starting up the machine after your initial setup. So your terminal app is here on the left, and it's going to open this little command line. We'll get to that in the video a little bit later in the video, but just know this is how you access your bash shell. So first of all, we need to learn how to execute shell commands. So like I said, if you're in the slides, right, you're going to want to click on this video icon in order to open up the Bash terminal videos. So yeah, the next video in this playlist will be us actually working with the Bash shell, opening it up, and also just the initial setup of your Ubuntu machine, just after you start it up. I know we didn't cover that in the last week, so we'll be covering that in the following video. So yeah, go ahead and click through to the next video, and we'll get started. If you're on the slides right, this will open up the very next video.